In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah. Muhammad is his messenger. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is our divine reminder and warner that's in our midst. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Jock Brothers Presents Let Us Make Man, a podcast of brothers that desires nothing more than to show a positive example as what striving men of God should be. For we all are businessmen. We all are family men who love our children. We all are youth mentors. We all work hard in our communities to make it a decent and safe place to live. When putting this podcast together, we decided to govern our actions by 3 rules. 1 was to put God first in all that we do. 2 was to present content to podcasts that can make you a better you. And 3, to showcase brotherhood and unity amongst men that you can be proud of. My name is Brother Abdul Kawi Muhammad. I'll be your host and moderator for today's show. I'm a brother that's very interested in the root of things, the beginning of things, motivations and inspirations. And so I hope you enjoy those lines of questioning. We got other hosts on the show. And the next brother I want to introduce you to is the producer of the DJ Rockwell show. Yeah, he's we might have to pin him a jock brother now. He's come on the show so much. Our brother here, long time resident of Atlanta, Georgia, long time brother in Mars 15, our brother, David Muhammad.
Dear brothers, it is again an honor and privilege, I consider it, to be welcomed back to the Jock Brothers, Let Us Make Man, the Jock Nation. I thank you for calling on me, and I hope that I represent the Rockwell Radio show well, to the best of my ability. I'm here to serve. Thank you again.
Praise be to Allah. And of course, we have an OG in the house, one of the original Jock Brothers, born and raised in New York City, son of a New York Nation of Islam legend, a well-traveled brother. Brother been more places in the last 3 months than I've been in the last 4 years. My brother, Ahmed Bia.
Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Thank you all. Thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us tonight. My name is Brother Ahmed. You are now witnessing the greatness of minds. We're going to tackle and spread some knowledge and wisdom and reminding us of the nutritional value of the Navy bean, the science behind the Navy bean. So I pray that you all can share this video, like this video, subscribe to our channel. You can view us on Facebook at Jock Brothers. You can view us on YouTube at Jock Brothers and Instagram at Jock Brothers. If you have any information and knowledge that you want to send to us, that you think may be a good show, or you just want to comment on some of the comments that were on the show, you can send us information to jockbrothersviewers@gmail.com, jockbrothersviewers@gmail.com, and you can support us. You can support our podcast at Cash App Jock Bros, Cash App $ Jock Bros. If you have any information or you want to donate to the cause that we're promoting, one of the initiatives that we have is we're striving to get the baddest, boldest Black-owned newspaper, the final call to our brothers and sisters that are incarcerated throughout the nation. So we are setting up and getting in contacts with different pastors and imams and brothers that are in different institutions, state, local, and That's federal. Right. If you have any information, please send it to us at jockbrothersviewers.com. And if you have any funds that you would like to donate, you see our Cash App scrolling at the bottom of the screen. That's all right there. Thank you, Brother Kawi. And let's get on with the show.
Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. So let's get to work. Well, family, you know that the Nation of Islam is well known for the bean pie. It's also well known for the Navy bean soup, which, as I could say, both of them has that Navy bean in relation to it. If you've been to any one of our events anywhere, a Nation of Islam sponsored ran event, that Navy bean is ever present, whether it's at a restaurant, whether it's at a friend's house, a loved one house. Why the Navy bean? With this show right here, we are going to delve into that type of conversation. We have a brother on the show today that is a researcher. Now, what is that? What is a researcher? A brother that I know you have given monies to, maybe the Cancer Foundation or the Asthma Foundation. These monies goes for research to find or get to the bottom of what these problems are. When it comes to researchers, the information, the data that they come up with is some of the data that is used to make decisions on where we go next in science. So we have what's called a researcher. We just so happen to have a researcher that is in the Nation of Islam. This brother here has always desired to be in medicine. And when in his freshman year of high school, I think day 12 of high school, he decided to go into an agricultural type of research. And the Navy bean is one of the research projects that he underwent. Am I saying this right, brother?
Yes, sir. Well, it was in my my freshman year of college that I started that research.
Not high school, college. Yes, sir. My apologies, brother.
No, you good.
Yes, sir. And so when it comes to this brother have information on the Navy bean and its benefits that most people would not have that type of information on, because he specifically did that type of research. With no further ado, and with a Jock Brothers round of applause, I would like to introduce you to the founder and CEO of the Original Man Scientific LLC, our brother, Tariq Muhammad.
All praise due to Allah. Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me. I'm glad to finally be on the Jock Brothers platform. I know we've been trying to set this up for a long time now, and I'm just glad to finally be on here with my brothers.
Praise be to Allah. So let's talk about you a little bit, brother Tariq, and what make you specifically qualified to talk about this particular subject.
Oh, well, we're taught that research best rewards, that history best rewards our research, right? So it really can be applied to this. You know, I spent a very extensive amount of time from the time I was in high school to now. I want to say about 2012. It's about going on 11, 12 years now, studying this being. When I was in high school, I didn't want to wait until I was a doctor to make a difference in medicine, right?
Right.
So, you know, what can I use in the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? What can I use in these teachings to be of a better, to kind of get my feet wet, or to leave my mark on medicine and not have to wait until medical school, not have to wait until I'm a fully trained physician? And I looked at the Navy bean. I was like, it's the most it's one of the most scientific products that was given to us by Master Father Muhammad to eat. And I thought it'd be a great thing to explore on a chemical level, biological level, industrial level, and to just kind of see, you know, what can be done with this bean outside of eating it.
Okay. Yes, sir.
That the work of Dr. George Washington Carver and what he did with the soybean, the sweet potato, and the peanut. And I was like, you know what, I can probably do something similar with the bean, with the Navy bean. I may not do all of those different things and come up with all the different types of inventions that he came up with. But we can definitely explore the potential of this bean outside of eating it for food. Okay,
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you kind of answered two questions in one, and that's good. So it leads up, based on your answer, it led up to this question then. All right. So you you specifically targeted the Navy bean as something to research. Now, is there other things that you might have researched along the way that you put a lot of time into?
Well, when you're looking to discover what the Navy bean can be applied to or be used for, there are other things that you have to study. For example, the original research project that I put together for the Navy bean was dealing with atherosclerosis, right? And just think of atherosclerosis as like a fancy word for the clogging of arteries or the plaque building of arteries, right? So I had to study the cardiovascular system. I had to study the human body really as a whole, because a lot of the work I was doing with the bean was going to be used for the human body. So, studying the human body, studying anatomy, physiology. I had to study cardiovascular pathology, which is how diseases form in the cardiovascular system. I've studied, respiratory diseases, cancer, thyroid diseases. I've dabbled into the industrial side as well, studying how we can synthesize or build different types of chemicals using the Navy bean. So there's a lot of work that goes into, trying to see what can be done with this bean. There's a lot of investigation going on.
Okay, yes, sir. So glad you answered it like that. You good, brother. All right. So look, so now, if you have How to Eat to Live, if anybody ever read How to Eat to Live, and those of you that have never read How to Eat to Live, and Brother David Ockman, please flash the book up if you have it in front of you. This is a book that was written by. Say again.
I'm saying I'll let my brother borrow mine, so it's not in hand's reach at the moment.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir. For the non-Muslim audience that happen to see this show right here, you can go to any nation, in the mosque near you. They should have the Messenger's books there. How to Eat to Live volumes 1 and 2 should be there. You should get your hands on this book so you can understand exactly where we're going with this. Brother Dave, now in the Message to the Black Man, now I know you studied the Navy bean, but he said the Navy bean is probably the only bean we should, or not probably, is the only bean that we should consume as human beings, which other beans, he said, was food for livestock. Have you did study as to why he made such a statement?
Well, no, I haven't gone into, just from a laboratory perspective, right? I haven't really. I mean, I've compared the Navy bean to the soybean on a chemical level. The soybean is actually a danger to human consumption, in that it's only meant for animals that are called ruminants. Ruminants are animals that have 4 compartments or 4 different types of stomachs and digestive systems that they're working with. Because the soybean is such a complex bean, along with a few other beans as well, like the lima beans and the different types of peas and other types of legumes like the peanut. These are very complex crops that it takes a lot for the human digestive system to break down. So it's best that we consume what's called a dry bean or a common bean, whereas it's really just filled with vitamins, minerals, amino acids, nutrients that are beneficial to the human being without the extra stuff. When I say extra stuff, what do I mean? I'm talking about the oil, right? The
That's
complex chemicals inside that oil that are against human life. So when we think about this being, right, we're thinking about simplicity. We're always thinking about simplicity. What the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, keep it simple. Everything needs to be simple. And the Navy bean is the simplest of all beans. It's straightforward, to the point, without all that extra stuff that you may find in other types of legumes. It's a very simple bean without any complex materials and chemicals a part of that bean.
Brother Tariq, you mentioned at the beginning of your response comparing the Navy bean and the soybean on a chemical level. I wondered
Right.
if you could give a bit of a explanation on that to the person that's not particularly in that field, what that means to compare them on a chemical level, please.
Yeah. So there's a test that you do in science called an assay. It's spelled ASSAY. An assay is a process you use to determine the different types of things that may be present in a substance, right? So you're trying to find out, okay, what's in this particular solution, right? Say, for example, right, I got some hand sanitizer right here. What I would do is to determine what's in this solution, I would do something like an assay to see, what types of chemicals or what types of free roaming substances are in the solution, right? So what I did with the soybean and the sweet potato, the soybean and the navy bean, I did some assays. I also did some chemical analysis on how they interact with other things, right? And what I found, and this is not something I found really, this is knowledge in the scientific community. And if you listen to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he tells you the same thing. The soybean has components in it that is made for, like I said earlier, is made for the consumption of animals. I hear a lot of people say that, it has a lot of protein in it. It has a lot of protein in it. And they say the same thing with meat, like the beef and different types of things like that. But we have to understand that all protein and all nutrients aren't created equal, right? If you was to get a flat tire and you drive a Nissan Sentra or a Nissan Altima, right? Would you put the tire from an F-150 on that car?
No, sir.
Exactly. They're both tires, but they don't serve the same function for the same car. It's the same thing with the soybean and the navy bean. The navy bean has specific types of proteins that match up to the human body. The soybean does not. It's a danger to the human body.
Yes, sir.
The lima beans, all those gut busters that we like to eat.
Yes.
Same.
I always had a thought. You mentioned about the consumption, those other types of beans being for the consumption of animals, particularly the bean being rich in protein. And I always thought that, okay, those animals that people consume, as far as eating meat being rich in protein, majority of them, if not all, are vegetarians. So they're getting a protein or their protein value, particularly from vegetables. I thought about that. Yeah, well,
and then that's a tricky thing to think about too, because even though the soybean, even though these animals are getting their protein from these beans that we're taught not to eat, they are able to withstand that type of protein. That's what their bodies are made for. So when people say, okay, it has a lot of protein and it's good it's good for you or whatnot because of that, the fact that it has a lot of protein is not good enough. There has to be a specific type of protein that circulates throughout this bean, or that the bean is made of, that is compatible to the human body. So whatever's good for the animal is good for the animal. We shouldn't worry about what's good for the animal.
Right.
We should be worried for us. When we eat these foods, when we eat we drink the milk from the cow, we drink the beef from the cow, they're processing it to the point where it's healthy for them. And by the time that protein is processed, we're not consuming the soybean from what they consumed when they consumed it. They had already broke that stuff down. So I hear people say, oh, if they eat the soybeans and they eat all these different things, why are we eating it? They've already broken it down. Their systems are made to break it down. That's it.
But sorry, I wanted to. I know we kind of jumped into the science behind it, but if I could just scale back a little bit with the navy bean being a plant.
Yeah.
And I know we are striving to grow our own foods because of the way the food is being manipulated now. Is it possible that we can grow our own navy beans, or does it have to be grown in certain areas? Do you need big fields for it? Is it something that we can take the beans, and start our own growing of the beans at home or in our own yards?
Yes, sir. So I've had the honor of growing the bean when I was at Virginia State University, and I spent a lot of time growing their bean on their farms. They have a 400-acre farm a couple of miles down from the university, and the navy bean pretty much grows in all the temperate climates that we see on the East Coast. You know,
Yes,
it's
sir.
not tropical or has to be grown in a greenhouse, anything like that. You know, you start your first plant of the navy bean around June, and then you harvest them in October or around October-ish. And yeah, you know, you get some soil, you plant it in your backyard. You can plant some in a community garden. You know, they're very easy to plant, very easy to nurture and grow.
And harvest? You just
Yes, sir. The harvest depends on just how much you plant. You know,
Right.
if you planted 10 plants, you know, you get a good, you should be able to get a good 100 beans from that.
Praise be to Allah.
100 beans.
Are
Well,
there-
it really just depends, like, because some pods grow 3 to a pod, some grow 4 to a pod, so it just depends on how much you plant. That'll determine your yield.
do you know of any, I guess, companion foods or partner foods that would go well with consuming the navy bean? Like, oh, you know, this vegetable or this fruit over here complements the navy bean well, as far as a meal or anything like that?
Then I got another follow-up question right after that, but go ahead.
There's plenty of foods that you can plant right along with the navy bean. You got your cucumbers. You can plant it with squash. You can plant it with some broccoli, some cauliflower, some carrots, even. You know, there's quite a few crops that you can plant when they do. You know, the things that we eat. You know, things that's conducive to the Muslim diet and conducive to a healthy diet, really.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Art.
Oh no, he answered them.
Yeah, after that. Okay, so
Yes.
so look, so earlier you said that these beans, soy, lima, right? They do damage to the human body. Is that your wording?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you explain some of that damage that is done to the human body? And then my next question to that would be some of the, I guess, what the navy bean does positive for the human body. So we get it that it's not for us, but just for those that want to know specifically, what is this damage he's talking about? Because I've been eating them all my life, and they're good. And I use them for Thanksgiving a lot. I use them for my Sunday dinners. I ain't died yet. What is he talking about? So
Right.
what damage is this bean doing to me? Can you talk about that?
Yes, sir. Well, just to kind of address that comment, you know, I ain't died yet. A lot of people realize slow process when it comes to food. It's not a, you know, right. It's not a immediate thing. Food is a romantic killer. It goes at you slowly. You know, it takes it nice and slow. You know, and when it comes to the lima bean, right, we're talking about something that's considered a gut buster. And what do I mean by a gut buster? A gut buster is something that is very hard for the stomach to process. In the digestive system, you know, the stomach is not the final stop of food that ends up leaving your body, right? It has to go through the stomach, but it's not the final stop. But in order for it to get through the stomach, it has to pass the test of being able to be dissolved and eviscerated by the hydrochloric acid in the stomach. The lima bean is a very difficult, or it causes a disturbance, right? Like if you think about the ocean, if there's an earthquake in the ocean and you get a tsunami, right? It's the same thing with the lima bean. You put that lima bean, it causes a disturbance in the hydrochloric acid, creating problems. It's difficult to break down. so that by the time it gets to the small intestine, it's already something that's, partially broken down, not broken down to the point where it needs to be. But the soybean is a little bit more strategic in how it affects the body, right? So remember what I was telling you about that oil content, that heavy oil content in the soybean? So that oil is mixed with has a very heavy blend of things that cause free radicals in the bloodstream. Free radicals are things that go around in the blood causing issues, causing, all kinds of problems. And one of the things that this oil content, or that these chemicals in the oil content do, is that they cause the blood cells to clump together. When the blood cells clump together, you get what's called a blood clot. Matter of fact, let me paint you a picture. There's a nail growth polish, a very clear nail growth polish, right? Most of the nail growth polish is made from soybean, because it creates a very hard, rigid film over your nail bed. That hard, rigid film is produced from the oil content in the soybean. So now you have this oil floating through your blood and floating through your digestive system. Now it's beginning to make things rigid, clump together, make things hard, and that's when blood clots come about. So a lot of the issues with the soybean and lima bean are digestive as well as biological.
Okay, so
Yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. I was thinking about. Oh, I was doing a little study on that, the way the body's breaking the different foods down, and just that you said that the navy bean helps the process of helping the body extract what it needs as an insulin base. What could you elaborate a little more on that?
Absolutely. So I think what you're referring to, it helps to stabilize the insulin levels in the bloodstream. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. So insulin is something that's released by the pancreas to help process glucose that we eat, that we get from food, right? So everything that we eat,
Right.
when it breaks down in the body, it breaks down into different types of sugars. And one of those sugars is glucose.
Did you say everything that we eat?
Say that again?
Did you say everything that we eat?
Right.
Everything down into a different type of sugar?
Right. It breaks down into natural sugars. And these sugars,
Okay.
one of these sugars is glucose. And not the navy bean, but insulin is responsible for moving that glucose to where it needs to be in the body, right? So with what the navy bean does, the navy bean promotes the ability for the pancreas to do that. So how does it promote that? So if you look at the I'm trying not to sound so sciencey here.
Sound sciencey, brother.
Yes. the glycemic index.
Well, that's sugar levels, right? That's just sugar.
Right, exactly.
That's like diabetic talk now, right?
Here we go.
Okay, yeah, go for it. Talk. Let's get it.
So when it comes to diabetes, right, the navy bean have these chemicals in it. Well, not chemicals. They have something in them called dietary fiber. And dietary fiber is a complex group of carbohydrates that allow the insulin levels to not go past the threshold
Which is like 180
right
for diabetics, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
That for that particular amount of insulin and glucose, right?
All right.
So when we understand that the navy bean sets the tone for how the insulin controls the glucose, then we can truly understand how important it is for the pancreas to do what it does. Now, if you find yourself in a situation where you're diabetic and you realize that you need to lower your blood sugar levels, you consume the navy bean, because the navy bean, like I said before, it allows the pancreas to keep an eye out, and it's really hard to explain, because a lot of what the navy bean does, a lot of that controlling the blood sugar comes from the navy bean, the entire bean working in tandem with the rest of the bean. It's a complete job. It's a holistic job of the navy bean. But
let me say this. I know you're trying to explain it, because one of the scientists was saying that they did a test on someone eating bread in the morning and how it spiked them, and
right.
then they let them eat bean soup, or they navy bean or bean soup before, and it didn't spike them. Then they let them eat the navy bean and then eat the bread, and the bean soup kind of helped regulate.
It kept
right.
It kept the bean kept the what was the other food?
Bread.
It was bread. They had
bread from spiking. That's the key right there. It's all about regulating the amount of glucose that the insulin has to maintain. So if you can keep the level good if you can keep it at a good level, then the insulin doesn't have to work as hard, and then you won't get any resistance, or you won't get any you won't get a diabetic condition, because the diabetic condition is all about the insulin not being able to handle the glucose. So if you eat the foods that are good for keeping those glucose levels at a good plateau, then you won't have to worry about the insulin not being able to do its job, and you won't have to worry about diabetes.
So it sounds as though this navy bean is doing a lot of regenerative type of work, it seems.
Yeah. And it's easy for it to do that, because people think of diabetes as a disease. It's not a disease. It's more of a disorder or a condition. It's like if you're stuck in traffic. That the traffic isn't the problem. The problem is what caused the traffic, right? So if you can eliminate the cause of the traffic, clear up. It's the same thing with the insulin and the glucose. If you can eliminate what's causing the glucose to get so high, then the insulin can do its job and keep it at a decent level.
And on top of that, with the another part of the research I was looking at was the work that the navy bean is doing with the insulin, but the amino acids that the navy bean provides. My niece, we were in a chat, and my niece was asking about what supplements or she should take vitamins, daily vitamins. And I looked up what's in immune booster or the multivitamin, and the same amino acids that was in the daily vitamin was in the bean soup. Was in the navy bean. And I was like, wow. So I told her, well, instead of trying to supplement with these daily vitamins, how about trying a little bean soup every day?
Yeah, and the navy bean, and it's a beautiful bean because it contains all 9 essential amino acids, right?
So it's 9.
Essential amino acids. These are amino acids you have to get from food. You can't get them anywhere else. So, the problem that we face when it comes to the vitamins and these different supplements, right, is that they only contain the amino acids by themselves. But you have to, in order to get the full benefit of a food, you have to eat it as it is. You can't just take out something from the bean, sell it as a supplement, and expect to get the same results. All of these amino acids work in tandem with the minerals, the vitamins, the carbohydrates, the fibers. All of these things work together.
Because then you're going into imbalance all over again.
Exactly. So it's best to get your supplementation, if you have to do that, from the food.
So in How to Eat to Live, um, the messenger Elijah Muhammad, he says that if you had wholesome milk, and the bean soup alone, you can live 240 years. All right. He also says that if you have
That's if you
whole,
start as an infant.
okay, start as an infant. Okay, but if I was to start at 40,
Mhm.
right, I'm sure that it'll right a lot of wrongs that I
Yes.
did the first 40 years, and I could still live a healthy, productive life.
Absolutely, absolutely. I always say, matter of fact, my grandfather, he came into the Nation of Islam in 1960. So that would have made him 31 years old at the time he came into the nation, right? And he spent all of his life. There was probably a gap between when the nation fell and when the nation stood back up, or when he made the decision to come back in. But he spent all of his Muslim life living how he was taught to live, and he passed away and returned to Allah at a decent older age, So I would definitely say that, even though you've lived the beginning parts of your life, living contrary to what God has taught, and you come into the teachings, and now you're able to, or even if you don't come into the teachings, you just decide to change your life, starting with your diet, but of course you want to come into the teachings to get the full effect. But there's definitely an opportunity for your body to really get those benefits. Now, how long you live, that's really up to Allah. And it's up to how you're living, even if you have these teachings. Some people have the teachings but aren't living the life, of a Muslim. So it's all about the decisions you're making, and it's all about whether or not when Allah wants you to come back to Him.
Okay, yes, sir. But let's. I guess I was what I was leaning up to is, we eat a whole lot of different foods. We eat, I mean, pretty much anything that is advertised on television. Not to mention, we eating, a lot of beefs and lambs now and salmon. Where when you read How to Eat to Live, it says you only really have to eat the Navy bean. And
Right.
you made a comment a moment ago that within the Navy bean itself, it has all of the 9 aminos that you need every day to survive. That implies, or the way you said it, is that all of us may not have all 9, or say onions or eggplant parmesan, they may not have all 9s. So you have to have eggplant parmesan with a salad, with some fruit, with some dessert, to get all 9.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what you're saying.
Well, yeah, and the Navy bean isn't the only one that has all 9,
Okay,
but
all right.
it does. And yes, sometimes you do have to eat a combination of foods to get all 9, because
Right.
some foods may not have the tryptophan, some foods may not have the leucine, some
Hold on,
foods.
so no, let's do that. Let's do that.
Mhm.
What? Let's talk about the 9. What are the 9 essential amino acids that you need?
Yeah,
Because
so
I don't know. Yes, sir.
let's first break down amino acids, right? Amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. Amino acids are the things that help tell our cells what to do, right?
Okay.
So if you don't have amino acids, you don't have the tools necessary to program a cell to do what it's supposed to do, right?
Wow.
So the Navy bean has all 9 essential. I can't, I know all 9 essential, but sometimes I can't name them verbatim, and it'll take me a while.
Okay. Yes,
But
sir.
most of the amino acids are responsible for bone health, brain health, everything that has to do with the development of the human body. That's what the amino acids are for, right? So when Honorable Elijah you really don't need anything else but the Navy bean soup, he's right, because it contains everything that's needed to build and sustain an actual human body.
Okay.
That contains everything that we need.
Any way you can Google quickly the 9 aminos? If
Can,
you, if
can
you,
you
if
do that?
I can look those up. If y'all wanted to
if you
continue
can't-
the conversation, I can look those up while y'all
okay,
converse.
okay.
Please do. But I can name a
Yeah.
few. So we got tryptophan, we got leucine, we got
You gonna?
huh?
Go ahead. What's your question? Go ahead.
No, I was going to tell David. I saw them, but you're going to have to be able to pronounce them.
Okay. Let's do this.
I accept the challenge.
Can you copy and paste it and put it in? Copy and paste it and see if you can put it in a private chat.
No,
And
I
then you
got my iPad phone. I'm gonna pull them up.
and now outside of aminos, is there anything else? Do it have other like benefits like,
It has-
like minerals or whatever?
Yeah, it has all the essential, not essential, but it has all of the necessary vitamins, all your B vitamins, all your I think it has C. I think it has well no, it doesn't have C. Excuse me, it has C, it doesn't have D. It has vitamin E, vitamin K, a whole lot of vitamins. It has the minerals, it has your magnesium, potassium, it has your phosphate, different things like that. Carbohydrates, your sugars, everything that the body needs, it has.
Go ahead.
I said he was you were breaking down you said it real quickly just now, but even the carbohydrates that it has and the iron, I heard you speak about the iron that it provides the body. Right. These are just not regular carbohydrates and iron there.
Right. You got your iron, you got your iodine. God, there's so much packed into that small bean. Matter of fact, for those who don't know, iron is what's needed by the red blood cells to help carry oxygen throughout the body, right?
Wow.
And then iodine, which is a very important role in the Navy beam protecting you from radiation. So there's a lot of benefit that the Navy beam has, and other things have them too, but they weren't prescribed by God.
Brother Tariq, I'm glad. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Brother Dave.
I'm glad you just mentioned radiation.
Yes, sir.
Radiation and the Navy beam and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad heavily prescribing that Navy beam for us.
Right.
In connection with today and our doggone use of these devices, these cell phones by our head 24 hours a day. I wondered if you could give a little light to the use of the Navy beam and its battle with radiation.
Right. So that battle with radiation and the U.S. Navy, they got hip to, the protective capacity of the Navy being from radiation. When they were, dealing with nuclear weapons and different types of things of that nature. And the Navy being has, like I was saying before, has an abundance of, or not an abundance, but a healthy amount of iodine, and it works in tandem with the amino acids and the iron to really provide the body with a good source of protection from radiation. Now, so if we consume the Navy beam like we should, we can protect ourselves from all kinds of radiation, especially the radiation from electromagnetic waves that we deal with our phones, with microwaves, with cell towers, different things of that nature. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. I'm here to learn.
But the Navy beam, and I will say this, the Navy beam is not. The Navy beam should be the skeleton of your nutrition, right? So he said whole wheat toast. He said, raw milk. He said honey. These are the different things that work together to really provide that protection against the elements in the environment and from getting sick. If you eat how to eat to live, if you do how to eat to live, you only be sick one day out of the year. That's what he promised you.
That's right.
Sometimes, if we're doing it, sometimes you only get that tickle in your throat, and then it's there for a couple of hours and it'll go away.
Yes, sir.
If you're doing how to eat to live like you should be. Sometimes it'll stay, and trust me, the ability for that virus to stay around, that's a great indicator of the state of your nutrition and the state of your body.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
After this question, we're going to go to a commercial break. But I mean, you made a very strong point here. You know, they call it the Navy beam. The Navy discovered something in them that helped them against radiation. But
well, I would say they discovered it. They observed it more so than discovered. I would just say they realized that, you know, this being was good for, you know, keeping them healthy during their journey, you know, whether it's underwater or above water on these big ships or what have you. But I wouldn't say they discovered it per se.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, Brother David, please get those 9 aminos. And
Yes, sir.
we're going to go to a commercial break. Ahmed, take off.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We thank you all for tuning in to our podcast this evening. The Jock Brothers can be found. You can watch us or view us on Facebook at Jock Brothers, on Instagram at Jock Brothers, and on YouTube at Jock Brothers. We normally air at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can support us financially. At the bottom of the screen, you see our Cash App, $ Jock Bros, $ Jock Bros. We are all youth mentors. We promote and provide different events and programs for youth. We are entrepreneurs, and we promote ideas and other businesses and information on our podcast. So if you want to support us, you can support us financially at $ Jock Bros, $ Jock Bros. You see it scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Also, we have a prison initiative where we're striving to get the baddest, boldest Black-owned newspaper, The Final Call, to our brothers and sisters that are incarcerated behind the prison walls all throughout the nation and the world. So if you have any information for us, you can provide it by emailing us at jockbrothersviewers@gmail.com, jockbrothersviewers@gmail.com. Also, we are entrepreneurs. All of us have our own businesses that we are promoting. Our brother Kawi is our real estate guru. He provides us with information and knowledge on home buying. He can help you buy a home, apartment, rent, commercial, or real estate. So if you have any knowledge or information that you need on real estate, you can call Brother Kawi at 404-671-5681. I am your brother, Brother Ahmed. I have a children's book that I created last year, and it's been doing very well. It's called Bilal and the Bullies. It's based on a young man who deals with bullying, but he deals with it in a way where he found his inner self and tapped into his inner self and his inner strength and was able to find out all about himself through the knowledge and the teachings that his parents and Islam bestowed from the teachings from the Quran. And he learned about himself. He was able to deal with bullying by strengthening himself, the knowledge of himself. So he didn't have to fight. He didn't have to do other things or fall into a deep depression. It's a good book for young men and young women who are dealing with bullying, especially during these, well, what they quote unquote bully month or the bully time of the years. But talk to your children while they're in school and they're involved in other events, that this may be something to help them, guide them through any difficulties that they're dealing with in regards to bullying and dealing with their peers. Next, we have our brother. He's not here with us today, but Brother Jackie has a Supreme Waste Removal Company where he provides dumpsters to commercial and private homes and businesses. If you want to contact him, 404-957-7639, and he can help you with your waste, getting rid of waste, construction, anything on those levels. He can provide a dumpster, different sizes. And if you call him at that number, you can get more information. So support the Jock Brothers, because we're doing everything to support our community and our family and in our believing community and outside of our believing community. Thank you. Back to you, Brother Carwy.
Yes, sir. Thank you there, Brother Ahmed. And Brother Tariq, if you look into your private chat, Brother David has put all 9 aminos.
Okay, I see.
And I also sent you a message regarding that sunlight hitting you in the head. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yes, yes, sir. Before we get into the 9 aminos, why do you think the Navy being gets so little attention? Why do you think they push that soybean, that of late, the lima bean, the pinto bean, the black eye? Why the dollar? You think it's the money only?
If you look at industry, if you look at the food industry, the agricultural industry, the energy industry, all of these industries are fueled by what they do with the peanut, what they do with the soybean, right? It's if you look at a lot of the ingredients on food that you go in the store, you look at the ingredients, 9 times out of 10, these products have soybean in them, right? When these white,
yes, sir, definitely,
right. When these white scientists were studying food, and they realized that the soybean, which is very cheap to grow, it's very cheap to produce, it's very cheap to extract the oil out of them. When they realized that they can use it as stabilizers in almost every food that you can think of, that was what motivated them to really capitalize on the economic gain from it. It's really about the economics. Even in Asian cultures or cultures that are over in Asian countries like China and Japan and different things like that, they too have an obsession with the soybean when it comes to their nutrition, when it comes to the different things that they produce. A lot of they've even produced water purification systems using the soybean because of how the soybean clumps things together, right? So because of the flocculants that they were able to produce, because of, George Washington Carver's work with the soybean and how he was able to partner with Henry Ford to reinforce the steel on the doors of the cars he was producing.
What?
That inspired them to put the soybean out in the forefront. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad did an excellent job showing us that we don't need the soybean in our food, we don't need the soybean in our water, and we don't need the soybean in our day-to-day lives, right? So it's really about money. It has provided a lot of economic stability for our open enemy, and that's one of the reasons why the Navy bean doesn't get the same have the same popularity as the soybean. Now, I will say this: the Navy bean has grown in popularity over the last couple of decades because we, as Black people and people in general, really, they see the value and the nutritional value in the bean. They may not look at it like I look at it for industrial purposes and purposes of making medicine and different things like that, but they still over time are seeing the value and are bear witnessing to the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Now, I know you're not a farmer. You can't answer this question, but you said it's cheaply made or grown food. Is that can you explain that one?
Yeah. So
Whereas you say that's cheaply grown, I guess that implies that the navy bean is not cheaply grown, or I mean, I'm trying to understand.
no, it is. When I say cheaply grown, I mean it's benefit. It's cost productive for them to do what they do with that soybean because they can the fact that you can grow the navy bean cheaply, not the navy bean, the soybean cheaply, contributes to why they care about it so much on an economic level. Not to say that it's not affordable to plant the navy bean, but because of the oil content in that soybean, it makes it more economically attractive to our open enemy rather than so it's really, like I was saying before, the difference in the properties, the navy bean being a dry bean, the soybean being an oil seed, that oil content makes it more attractive to the enemy because of what they can do with that oil. Versus with the navy bean, they can both be grown affordably, but the things in the mind of the open enemy, the things that it envisions, the things that they envision with that bean, can only be produced to the way into the magnitude that they want it with that oil seed.
Gotcha. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So we have the 9 different aminos.
Right.
In addition to those aminos, he mentioned a whole lot of minerals. But these amino now before we get into the 9, you said there's other foods that have all 9. Do you know those foods?
Yes. You got eggs, whole wheat, raw milk. A lot of the things that we're supposed to eat, and that's why I said what I said about the navy bean soup not being alone. That when we were taught to eat the navy bean soup, we're taught to eat it with milk. We're taught to eat it with whole wheat toast, because these things contain the non-essential amino acids as well, outside, even in addition to the navy bean. So it's a variety of foods, and if you understand the word essential, meaning it's needed, meaning that the foods that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad prescribed to us are all needed foods. He's not going to give you something that you don't need.
I'm smiling because that's exactly what he said to eat and how to eat to live.
There you go.
He said eat bean soup with raw milk.
Right.
He said eat, drink the milk with toast. And you'll live a long, full, healthy, happy life.
Right.
Of course, if you eat at the right time with the right way with the right thoughts. We got that. But if you just do the food alone, man, you on the right track. You just got to get the other. Other than that, let's go into the 9 amino if you don't have a problem with it.
Yes, sir. So what do you want me to do first? Like, what do you?
Just go. I guess top to bottom. If you can pronounce it, great. But just simplify what it does. I can't. Like this first one look rough. To pronounce. But it's just just give us a little something that what it does, what that the body needs. If you can, just you can run through the list quickly if you want to.
Yeah. So the first one is phenylalanine. So let me paint a picture for you. Most of these amino acids, some of them do some of the same things. A lot of them have similar functions. Most, like I was saying before, amino acids are the building blocks to proteins, right? Right. So amino acids are the things that help form proteins. Proteins tell your cells what to do. These are things that control, whatever particular part of the body will eventually do. Will it be a bone? Will it function as a synovial fluid between your joints? Will it function as, a heart cell? Will it function as, other things in your body? It's really unlimited. But so most of them function as precursors, right? So say, for example, let's take histidine for an example. Does histidine sound familiar?
No.
Does it sound like histamine?
It does. It does.
That's what I was going to say.
Right, exactly. So histidine is a precursor to histamine. So as we all know, histamine is something that, deals a lot with, our allergies and different things of that nature, right? So histamine is a protein. It's something that circulates throughout the body to tell our cells what to do when we're dealing with allergies and allergic reactions, right?
Right.
So the histidine, the amino acid, serves as a precursor, which is something that's made first before it becomes histamine. Am I making sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that's pretty much what the non-amino acids do. They serve as precursors to other types of proteins, like for example, tryptophan, right? One of the things that tryptophan is known for is serving as a precursor to melatonin and serotonin. These things help with mood and sleep, right? So
Yes, sir.
think of it like that. Think of amino acids as the starting material needed to produce a protein, to produce something that will eventually tell your body to do something or to look a certain way. There's amino acids that help with the collagen in your lips. These amino acids that help with your memory. There's
Wow.
amino acids that how your bones are able to absorb calcium in the proper manner. So all of these things that the navy bean contains are precursors or are ingredients to make the things that our body needs to produce to regulate things.
So that sounds like, Brother Tariq, if we're running around here with a great deficiency of these essential amino acids,
Come on.
but still we're taking on, all of the things that we encounter, whether it be what we eat, environmental or whatever. Now you got all this stuff coming in, but you don't have these essential aminos to tell them what to do or to instruct them. And now you got just stuff floating around. Am I,
Yeah.
weird in that thought? Oh,
No,
man.
not with it all. This is how cancer forms. This is how heart disease forms, diabetes. All of the things that we as a people go through is because we are lacking the nutritional backing that our bodies need from these essential amino acids, which eventually become proteins and do what they have to do in the body.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what to say. Okay,
And
so
okay, go ahead, brother.
did you have a question? Well, I do have a question, but I think it takes us far away from the line of questioning where we are, but still where our brother is able to answer. You mentioned early on, particularly getting a start early on with your study of the navy bean. Was there a particular, something that you encountered, heard, or whatever that was that aha moment for you that say, okay, I'm going after this study, this research, or did you just, pick it up on a humbug?
Well, it's funny you asked that. So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us that pain is the mother of creativity, right? And I was like I was saying before, I was in high school. And in addition to not wanting to wait until medical school to contribute to medicine in some way, I was also dealing with something that made me severely emotional at the time.
Yes.
I was finding out a lot of the circumstances behind my grandmother's death, and I used a lot of what I was studying with the Navy bean and what I was finding out about her. Now she had returned to Allah about 4 or 5 years before I started.
Yes.
So there were a lot of questions I had that I didn't quite, questions I had in my mind that I didn't quite understand. And as I was finding out and as I was getting this information, I took some time to kind of really, see what are some of the things in this that I can use in this being to go after the things that she dealt with.
Yes, sir.
It was inspired by a lot of that. And I know it sounds cliche. Oh, I went into medicine because of a family member, this, that, and the third. But you know, a lot of times people become healers because of the things that they saw in their life, you know. So it was a lot of stuff going on at that time.
Yes, sir. So we absolutely thank Allah for your grandmother and what she inspired there.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. Praise be to Allah.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now,
Go ahead, Grant.
Y'all got
brother,
it.
sorry. Yes, I heard the echo. It's gone now. No, it's gone now. Well, now, can you deal with something else, that some of the causes that we deal with the Navy bean is gas.
Yeah.
Is that coming from the bean? Is that now I've heard that maybe drinking warm tea or even apple cider vinegar can take some of the gas away after eating like a bean soup or something with that's kind of full with Navy bean.
Yes, sir. Well, a lot of the gas, a lot of that's eliminated in the preparation process. You know, sometimes, you know, when we're soaking the beans for a certain amount of time, you know, depending on how long we soak the beans and what we soak them in, the temperature that the beans are soaking in, you know, in terms of the overall temperature of the environment. You know, sometimes that the way we prepare the beans to soak the beans determines how much gas we're going to deal with internally. Now, you know, I personally, just aside from science, and it's coupled with science too, but I think that, you know, the having the gas is a good indicator that it's having an effect on your digestive system. I look at it like this, you know, people say, you know, alkaline, people drink alkaline water like it's something you're supposed to drink all the time, or like it's some type of water that you're supposed to drink even when you're in a healthy state, right?
Right.
But water, and this is something Dr. Alim mentioned as well, alkaline water is really a diagnostic test. It's really to determine, you know, your current state. If you look at it like this, earlier on I talked about the hydrochloric acid in the stomach, right?
Right.
What is the purpose of that hydrochloric acid? Can y'all tell me?
No, sir.
To break down food?
Right, it's to break down food. It's a very volatile acid, and when food gets in the stomach, it's meant to burn it up or break it down, right? So when you drink alkaline water, and I'm making a point with this when it comes to the Navy bean, when you drink the alkaline water and you feel better, it's an indicator that you might be sick. The best water to drink, according to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, is spring water. But you drink alkaline water, you can determine, okay, I don't feel good, but after I drink the alkaline water, I feel better. You might be going through something. It's the same thing with the Navy bean, right? Now, the Navy bean, you're supposed to eat all the time. But sometimes you have a lot of gas, it may be telling you, okay, you know, I'm producing this gas, but I may not be, I'm producing it, but I'm also letting you know that there may be some issues in your digestive system that you need to work on. And then when you work on those issues, then and of course with the Navy bean's help, you'll begin to see that gas over time kind of subside. I don't think gas from the Navy bean it's not a permanent issue that can be dealt with.
I never heard it explained like that. You know, that's I don't want to say it's beautiful, but it's beautiful.
And it's like I was saying before, it's really about, you know, what's going on with your body while you're trying to get it right. What condition or what state is it currently in?
Yes, sir.
Like, right? COVID is another great indicator that something may be going on. COVID took a lot of lives, but it also shows you the state your body is in. how long is COVID staying around? How long are you dealing with the symptoms? Did you succumb to COVID? Did COVID affect you in a very negative way? Did you get COVID and never ever experience any symptoms? All of that plays a role. All of that is an indicator of what you're currently going through, what's currently going on in your body, which is why people who have pre-existing conditions are more likely to suffer the most when they have COVID, because there's other stuff going on. It's the same thing with Navy. Sure. Telling you, okay, you need to work on your digestive system. Okay, you need to work on your heart health. If you realize that after eating a Navy bean for a certain amount of time and you don't have any chest pains anymore, that means that you had some cardiovascular issues.
So what do you feel about let me see. What do you feel about all the products that we have? Navy bean chips, Navy bean pie, Navy bean. I mean, we are producing so many products out of the Navy bean. What do you feel about the nutritional value of these products?
I mean, I think it's good. At the end of the day, the label is only telling us what's in what the food is made of, but it may not necessarily be telling us how it was prepared, right? So I think it's good that people use the Navy bean to substitute different types of things. I've seen people make Navy bean protein shakes, Navy bean flour for baking. It's a really good way to incorporate the Navy bean into everything that we do. But we also have to keep in mind that, the Navy bean, it has its place. And I'm not one to say the Navy bean should be used for this, because I'm pushing the limits with the bean myself. But I would say, just kind of be careful. Don't overdo it. Don't make everything Navy bean. Have some how to live, and there are other things in that book. Don't be,
Right.
You don't want to wake up and you the Navy bean yourself. So you want
to. Right. I was thinking about somebody having Navy bean shots in their refrigerator. I need a Navy, like an immune booster or something. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, those are all possibilities. You can make immuno supplements from the Navy bean. That can be done. There's a lot of most of my products are medicinal or used for medical purposes. So there are going to be products that you see that come from me that can be applied to something like that.
Are your products, is the Navy bean a base of your products?
Yes. So in science, there's something called a substrate. A substrate is something that is used as a starting material, or something that you use to serve as the foundation of the development of a product or a solution, right? Say, for example, if I'm developing some type of penicillin or antibiotic, and I'm using orange peels. The orange peels are the substrate, and then the spores that come up off of that orange peel, the penicillin pores, or the spores, that blue fuzzy material that comes up off the orange peels is the product. So the Navy bean is used as a substrate in a lot of what I'm doing. So there's a product, and I'm not going to go into too detail, because I still, these are still things I have not put on the market yet, and I still want to protect them. But one of my products rivals a product used for blood clot medicine in Japan, China, and the United States. So that initial product I was telling y'all about, when it comes to the cardiovascular system and dealing with blood clots and plaque in the arteries, that flagship product is made from the Navy bean.
That's amazing, and I can't wait to see and support.
Yes, sir. I'm going to have some some demonstrations. I'm gonna do some social media demonstrations on some of the products that I'm working on. Inshallah, I'll be able to do some of the first demonstrations on around the time of the new year.
Yes, sir. Look forward to it.
Brother, this is I know we having some technical difficulties. Is he still on?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay. Look, Brother Tariq, man, great interview, great education
Yeah.
on the Navy being. We're going to go into our final words.
Well, I'm
And,
sorry, Kari. I just was showing some of
Oh,
his
yes, sir.
website. I wanted viewing audience that they can support his website. The Original Man Scientific LLC.
That's correct. Okay.
And you can get some of his products or learn about some of his research. Please support our brother, Tariq Muhammad, Original Man Scientific LLC.
And let's let them know as well. The brother right here, Jabril Muhammad. Our
Oh, yeah.
brothers, Tariq and Jabril, they have a podcast that they have on.
Right.
The STEM Center.
Right. The
And
STEM.
go ahead. Talk about it.
Yes, sir. So the STEM Files is a platform that Jabril and I started. Brother, you see right there to the right, excuse me. We started a program. We don't like to call it a podcast because it's not necessarily in that format. But we started a program where we interview Black people in the sciences, in engineering, in tech. You know, we get their life stories. We get, how-tos. We learn from, what they do in their respective fields. And Jabril and I, along with Sister Dr. Joy, who's someone we added to the STEM Files team, who's a doctor in Chinese medicine. Jabril Muhammad is a mechanical engineer for the United States Navy, and y'all know who I am. And we form the STEM Files, and it's a great program. We just interviewed. Our last interview was with Dr. Wesley, where we broke down the science of the atomic bomb, as a weapon itself, the engineering behind that, and what inspired Dr. Wesley to go into that particular area of research. And, we've interviewed people from Dr. Bennett Amalu, the brother that Will Smith plays in Concussion. We've interviewed Dr. Aleem several times. We've had, people on who are game changers and are making waves in the STEM fields. So, and they're Black people. So we take pride in the platform.
That's right. Please check out our brother and Brother Jabril on the STEM Files.
At the STEM Files Instagram.
In the STEM Files Instagram. Yes, sir. Brother, take the honors of the final word, Soldier.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank y'all for allowing me to come on your platform. Like I said before, this has been a long time coming. I usually shy away from doing interviews from the Navy Beam because I wanted my interviews about the Navy Beam because I wanted the products that I was developing from the Beam to be available and to be studied and looked at. So I did this to kind of serve as a building block. Like we were talking about those amino acids, kind of like a building block to the types of information that I'm going to be releasing to the public very soon. So I thank y'all for allowing me to come on. Don't sleep on the Navy Beam. Stop saying how to eat to live doesn't work, because it does. I've heard believers say this, and it's outrageous. How to eat to live does work. It's the best way of life for you, even if you can't get the Navy Beam. Just start off by eating once a day. Just start by doing that. Start by eating twice. Like if you can't, get away from, 2 meals. Okay, fine. Do your 2 meals, but make sure that your last meal is between 4 and 6. And then start getting to 1 meal a day, and then 1 meal every other day. But if you really want to be successful with 1 meal a day, you got to get on that Navy Beam.
You said it perfectly, Soldier.
Praise be to Allah.
It is outrageous not to be on that Navy Beam.
No, outrageous not to do how to eat to live.
Well, how to do it to live? Well, yes, sir.
Right.
Praise. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Brother David, final word.
Final words. Thank you again to the great brothers of the mighty Jock Nation. Again, it is an honor to be included in this conversation. A privilege to meet and converse with you, Brother Tariq. I've learned a lot to go and study. I hope that I've done well in representation of the mighty DJ Rockwell over there at the Rockwell Radio Show. And again, we look forward to doing more, bigger, better, greater things. Thank you.
Praise be to Allah.
Brother Ahmed, final words. Let me do it again. You're on mute, by the way. The great brother Ahmed. Final words. You're on mute, brother.
Oh, thank you for that, Brother Ahmed. If you are saying something, you're on mute, but since you got the graphic up there, that's us.
Everyone,
that's the
thank
mighty,
you, brother. Everyone, thank you, brother.
The Rockwell Radio Show. Thank you again. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Brother Vaughn too.
I just wanted to thank. Yes, sir. I wanted to thank you, Brother Tariq, for coming on. And I'm glad you keep pointing to the fact that how to eat to live is the macrocosm. The Navy bean is just part of it. It's just part of how to eat to live. The bigger umbrella is how to eat to live, and I'm glad you are embracing that because yes, you can eat the Navy bean, but if you're eating everything else, and if you're not fasting, and if you're not eating at the prescribed day, once a day or maybe twice, every other day, then you could eat Navy bean all you want. If you're eating chocolate chip cookie and potato chips right after, what's the use? So the Navy bean is designed to help you as long as you're submitting to a healthier lifestyle. How to eat to live is what is designed. And I thank you also, and I pray that our viewers shared this and they're watching it. I was speaking to a sister and she was saying something about herbs. And you said something earlier about when somebody said, I've been eating all this all my life and I didn't die yet. That food is a process, and it's a process of healing and it's a process of killing you. And she mentioned that the herbs, she think that the herbs is just something that's in people's minds. And I said, well, crushing herbs or using herbs in your foods and even the food. I said, well, man, if you crush up chocolate chip cookies and potato chips, that stuff will kill you too. You might want to, Oh, go ahead.
And what I was saying about everything having its place, right?
Right.
We shouldn't substitute things with other things. We should be like live the two books with is a combination of lifestyle and diet.
Right.
It's not something that you don't take a piece of How to Eat to Live and decide to work with that and then just do herbs, or a piece of How to Eat to Live, work with that and then do supplements. You have to take How to Eat to Live as a whole. Everything that is in those books is supposed to be used in combination with the other. It's not I want this part of How to Live, but I don't need the rest of that. You need all of it.
That's right.
Herbs are great, but they're not meant to replace the combination of lifestyle and nutrition. So you can do all your sour sop, you can do all your whatever herbs you can think of, whatever types of concoctions you can come up with. That's great. But it does not replace proper diet with the right.
Maybe we need to talk about it.
Yes,
have you ever really studied one meal a day Have you did research on that one?
Well, I don't think 1 meal a day is anything. I mean, there's been research done on one meal a day. I haven't done it per se, and I don't really, me personally, I don't feel like I need to do any research on 1 meal a day, because I know that if you're on the right foods, the 1 meal a day becomes easier. If you're doing how do you live as the instruction, as a set of guidelines to govern your life, then doing 1 meal a day is not hard. If you're staying productive, you know, and if you when you're in the and you're you're eating once a day, and then over time you realize you don't even notice you're eating once a day. You know, all of it's conditioning. The food that is in How to Live is
what about
mind and your body to eat 1 meal a day.
And what about the science and how long it takes? There's a brother presented that the science on how long it takes the body to actually digest food. So if you eat it at one time of the day, the 24-hour period that the body takes to digest the food in that 1 meal a day.
Right. It's a 24-hour period. And then also too, all foods don't take that long. If you're eating a cheeseburger and fries, milkshake, it's going to take longer than 24 hours. Why? Because the body is really not meant to digest beef. So it's going to take a lot longer. But the navy bean soup, the body's meant to consume that. So that's going to take the average time, 24 hours, sometimes even less, to digest the food. And your body begins to use those nutrients to sustain itself. So all meals are not created equal. Like I said with the protein in the beginning, everything that is in How to Live has mathematics behind it that really elevates everything that is meant to sustain everything. All of it is mathematically done. You know, so we don't have to worry about how long food is going to take if you're eating bean soup, raw milk, whole wheat toast. But you definitely need to worry about it if you're eating the wrong foods.
Is that it?
Okay, as also part of my closing, I wanted to direct our viewing audience to NOI.org, where you can find products like the navy bean, and you can also, navy bean pie, excuse me. You can also reach out to them to find out where you can buy the navy beans. Brother Tariq, is that like Detroit? I wanted to look that up before we got on the show.
Are you asking me where you can get the navy beans from? Yes, sir.
Right, I know we were purchasing it from a farm in Detroit. Should our audience or anyone? I didn't hear you. Say it again.
I said I think it's somewhere in Michigan. I don't know if it's in Detroit per se.
Okay. Well, they can go to NOI.org. They should be able to find out where you can purchase pounds of navy beans at a reasonable price. So, to all our viewing audience, definitely visit NOI.org, and you can find products like the navy bean and find out where you can purchase the navy bean pie, and find out where you can purchase navy beans from our various farms and different locations. NOI.org. Thank you, brother Tariq, for joining on and giving us this information. Is very valuable, very valuable. We're going to try to air this show multiple times to get this science and knowledge. Your research will definitely not go in vain. I've learned things on this show that I can have discussions with my children and preferably my grandchildren and different family members. This can be a topic of discussion at the dinner table and at family events. But thank you for your research, brother.
All praises due to Allah. Thank you all for having me, and I look forward to supporting you all, and I look forward to us supporting each other in the future.
So let me just say, Brother Tariq, I have been trying to get this brother on the show for a while. And the very reason that he gave why he hasn't been on the show as of yet is the same reason he gave me a long time, a lot of integrity with his research, a lot of integrity. He hasn't changed. His answer hasn't changed. I'm so glad we was able to get you on this show. It actually been a target topic of ours for a couple of years now, and you didn't disappoint. Look, every time a brother's out on the street corner offering the Navy bean to our lost found family, man, I know it's a treat, but within that treat, it's saving your life. If that bean, if that pie, which we stand by, has all that he says is in that bean, and it's doing all that he said this bean can do for you, we're actually offering salvation every time we sell a slice of pie on the street. Not to mention every time we give you a bowl of bean soup at our homes or our local restaurants. So, family, look, especially my immediate family and people I went to church with, let's try the Navy bean in our diets more than what we do. Let's put down the lima beans, the black-eyed peas. I don't know where we got the celebration of black-eyed peas to come into the new year. I don't know where that come from. The pinto beans, the butter beans. Look, let's try this Navy bean and all of its the ways that we can make it. And again, if you just do the research, this is not we just saying, oh, the messenger told us to do it. No, we actually have a researcher right here explaining to you why this being works best for the human body versus why other beings damages the human body. So I hope that message was well received as you well delivered it. And I look forward to working with you in the future, Brother Tariq. And please, man, give your brother on the STEM Files our best. And I pray that we can team up again to do something to help our people. If there's nothing else to be said, as the great Brother Jackie, our jock brother, always like to end our shows, and with his great words, another one.
Praise be to Allah. Shout out to Brother Jackie as well.